Complete History of Iceman Part 2. Iceman joins Rogue's team after she tells him that she wants him as a member. They develop a romantic relationship after she and Gambit break up. Their first mission as a team is to fight a new threat, a powerful group known as the Children of the Vault. The team is successful, and during this time, Bobby learns that he can be completely destroyed but then pull himself back together again. It was shown several times during the arc. The next mission for the team was to locate a man called Pandemic and defeat him. The team was again successful, but Rogue was infected with a virus called Strain 88. Cable took the team, including Bobby, to his island so Rogue could get treatment. While on Cable's island, the team and Iceman began working to defeat the Shi'ar weapon known as the Hecatome. During the chaos, he shared a passionate kiss with Mystique. Even as he did so, he saved many lives by containing the explosion of the Conquistador, and, later, the Hecatome itself. Blinded by the light. As the team recovers from Hecatome attack in Rogue's childhood home, it appears that Mystique and Iceman begin a romantic relationship. This was a front, as Mystique was using Iceman and the X-Men as a marauder spy for Mr. Sinister. Marauders soon infiltrated the house. They attempt to gain access to Destiny's diaries on the order of Mr. Sinister, who has been gathering information about the future from anybody and anything that could foretell the future. Bobby and Cannonball escape from the Marauders in the X-Jet, with help from Emma Frost. They are pursued by Sunfire. They manage to get the better of him and take him prisoner, but not before he manages to cripple the jet. While Sunfire is unconscious, Iceman and Sam discuss the Marauders' plan to eliminate all precognitive mutants and anyone with knowledge of the future, as well as retrieving Destiny's diaries before the Marauders can. During this time, Bobby displayed subatomic control of energy transfers when he prevented Sunfire from using his fire-based powers. Cannonball and Bobby, telepathically prompted by Emma Frost, attempt to recover the diaries which are hidden in a dilapidated brewery. Mr. Sinister uses the reverse-engineered version of Xavier's Cerebro to track the pair of X-Men to the brewery. The Marauders attack Cannonball and Iceman and overtake them. Bobby, while in his ice form, suffers a gunshot wound from Mystique, which severs one of his arms above the elbow. Mr. Sinister, who takes Cannonball prisoner, attempts to telepathically erase his mind so that the X-Men will find him as an empty shell. Iceman attacks Sinister, distracting him, which allows both of the X-Men to escape. The new X-Men team decided to raid the headquarters of the Purifiers in Washington, D.C., but were forced to retreat. Pixie teleported them back to the mansion in a rush, but the entire team was scattered between D.C. and Westchester. Iceman, after recovering from his injuries, volunteered to go look for them and was given telepathic directions by Emma Frost. Iceman was successful in finding the new X-Men, most of them injured. On the way back, they found that the ONE** sentinels guarding the Xavier Institute had become infected by nano-sentinels and attacked the school. Iceman and new X-Man X-23 helped out in the battle with the ONE** sentinels. With the help of Dust and X-23, the X-Men were able to survive this battle, but the nano-sentinel infected human escaped. Soon, Iceman participated in the final battle against the Marauders, the Acolytes, and Predator X. He was one of the X-Men who came running in to fight Predator X after it swallowed Wolverine whole. However, he also witnesses his mentor, Professor Xavier, killed by Bishop's bullet, which was not meant for him. Iceman arrives in San Francisco, where he was set to meet Hepzibah, Warpath, and Angel. All four are caught in the effects of a city-wide illusion created by Martinique Jason, who used her powers to transform the city into a hippie paradise. Now calling himself Frosty, he and the others are sent by Martinique to confront Scott Summers and Emma Frost. Emma Frost is able to break up the illusion and free everyone. They eventually set up their base of operations in San Francisco as X-Men. Iceman rescues Colossus from Venom and is later made a part of a team to battle Emma Frost's Dark X-Men during the final battle on Utopia. Iceman teams up with the X-students to take on Mimic 82. Iceman had the labor of providing water to the population. He attempted to use humor to keep everyone's spirits up even though he believed that the situation was helpless and that the X-Men were living in the last days of mutant kind. Bobby then helped defeat Predator X and also helped stop Seleni's resurrected army's invasion of Utopia. During the battle with Bastion's Nimrod Sentinels, Iceman is severely injured following an attack from one of them that reversed his ice form and left him with burns on his body. He is only there for a short time because his mutant powers help him minimize the injuries he suffered, and he is seen back in battle alongside Psylocke and the other X-Men. Early solicitations show that after Wolverine and Cyclops have a major falling out, Wolverine decides to branch off and open the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning back in New York. Iceman is the first person Wolverine approaches and recruits to his new X-Men squad as both a professor and teammate. Iceman is chosen because Wolverine feels he has the kind of spirit the new school needs. He also has an off and on romantic relationship with Kitty Pryde. When the Terrigen became toxic for mutants, Iceman was one of the recruits in Storm's new team dedicated to protecting mutants from the Terrigen by leading them to X-Haven. Iceman mostly works alongside Nightcrawler, helping him search for Colossus after he is transformed into one of Apocalypse's new horsemen. Iceman and Nightcrawler manage to track Colossus to Egypt, where he ambushes them and almost kills them until another squad of X-Men comes in to help. After that, Iceman joins the X-Men when they declare war against the Inhumans after discovering that in a matter of weeks the Terrigen will render Earth as completely uninhabitable for mutants. Iceman is one of the few heroes summoned by Mr. Fantastic to help the Future Foundation against the villainous being known as the Griever. However, Iceman is not one of the few heroes who were part of Fantastic Four's expanded members. When one of the original four, Human Torch, noticed his presence during the battle, Iceman claims that he was with the Fantastic Four in an untold story during the Atlanteans' past invasion led by Namor, but Human Torch replies that story Iceman made up was not canon. Following the war with the Phoenix Five, as Cyclops begins to lash out against government oppression of mutants, A chance comment by Bobby about how the old Cyclops wouldn't tolerate what he is currently doing inspires Beast to travel back in time and recruit the original 5 X-Men to stop Cyclops. The team decides to stay in the present instead of returning into the past. Volume and issue needed. They are now called the all-new X-Men and led by Kitty Pryde. Volume and issue needed. The past and present Bobby are particularly shocked when they see each other. The younger Bobby is especially shocked by the older Bobby's Omega-level powers, like creating ice golems, and especially his future ice wizard self in the Battle of the Atom. Eventually he and the all-new X-Men and the Guardians of the Galaxy travel to the Sheer Empire to rescue Jean Grey from a trial for the genocide that her future Dark Phoenix self committed. The team is then teleported into the Ultimate Marvel Universe, where he stumbles into Mole Man's lair. He proudly creates his first ice golem in order to escape. Returning to their universe, the team are reunited with Cyclops when they are called upon to aid the Guardians of the Galaxy again in retrieving the fabled Black Vortex. Cyclops, Iceman, and Groot become superpowered by the Vortex before returning it to Captain Marvel. Later, the younger, time-displaced Bobby is forced to confront being gay by his teammate, Jean, who privately asks him why he calls women hot, when she knows via her psychic abilities that he is gay. This causes the younger Bobby to speculate as to the complicated identity issues faced by his older self and the decisions his older self may have made in the time between them. Together with the young Jean, the young Bobby confronts his older self, who admits to being gay, having concealed that part of himself so that he could have avoided being prejudiced against for another part of himself. After the X-Men's war against the Inhumans for the Tur-Igen ends, Iceman joins the rest of the young X-Men on an attempted return to their original timeline, but they quickly realize that theirs isn't part of the Earth 616 timeline, leaving them stuck in that present time with no knowledge where they were originally from. Upon learning this, Iceman joins the rest of the young X-Men and leaves the rest of the X-Men to find their place in the world. Iceman then joins Magneto in Madripoor along with the rest of the time-displaced X-Men. However, due to a lack of trust in their new leader, the X-Men make plans and train in case Magneto returns to his former villainous ways to kill them. Instead of training with his teammates, Iceman spends most of his time trying to reach out to his new Inhuman boyfriend Romeo unsuccessfully, placing him into a stupor.